Adam woke up to the sound of running water coming from the bathroom that he and Lawrence shared. It was 7 a.m. and Lawrence should have been at work by now. Adam pulled back the duvet, swung his legs over the side of the bed, and walked over to the ensuite bathroom. Lawrence was standing with his back facing Adam as he washed himself. Adam opened the sliding door of the clear glass shower and snuck in behind him, closing the door behind himself. He slipped his arms around Lawrence's strong torso. Lawrence jumped, startled. "Christ, Adam, you scared me," said Lawrence, surprised. "Aren't you supposed to be at work today?" Adam asked. "I am, but I decided to stay here. I wanted us to spend the day together," Lawrence replied, turning around and wrapping his arms around Adam's waist. Adam wrapped his arms around Lawrence's neck. "I love you," he mumbled, burying his face into his collarbone. "I love you, too, Adam," replied Lawrence, tilting Adam's head upward and leaning down to kiss him. Adam accepted the kiss, opening his mouth and letting Lawrence's tongue inside. He couldn't help but let out a little moan. Lawrence pulled Adam toward him and gasped as their cocks rubbed together. Adam broke the kiss and looked up at Lawrence, smiling wide. "You like that?" asked Adam, brushing his hand against Lawrence's cock, making him gasp again. "You know I do, Adam," Lawrence murmured as Adam started kissing his neck. "Stop teasing me." Adam continued rubbing against his cock. "Yeah?" "Yes. Please," Lawrence begged. Adam started kissing Lawrence's collarbone and nipping in different places, all the while Lawrence was groaning and running his hands all over Adam's body lustfully. Adam gasped against Lawrence's chest as he felt Lawrence's hands caressing and gently squeezing his arse. Suddenly, Lawrence broke the quiet mood and pulled away slightly. "Adam, I want you so badly right now, but I'm not sure I can lift you in here," he said, breathing heavily. After a few more beats, he continued, "I just don't think we could make it work, it'd be too slippery." "Oh," Adam replied, moving his lips right up to Lawrence's ear, "would that be a problem, Larry?" "Stop it," Lawrence whimpered, blushing. "What's wrong?" Adam whispered again. "Nothing, I just think I might drop you if we try it like this." He paused. "Especially if you keep teasing me like that," he continued, placing his hands onto Adam's hips again. "You think I'm just teasing you?" asked Adam, smirking. "Aren't you?" asked Lawrence. "You tell me," Adam whispered, kissing down Lawrence's chest and torso, slowly lowering himself down until he was on his knees, the water from the shower head spraying down on it around him. "How's this for a list of fantasies you have somewhere?" Adam murmured, looking up at Lawrence. "Adam, please, I can't take it anymore, I need—" Lawrence was cut off by Adam taking the head of his cock into his mouth and sucking hard. Lawrence cried out and bucked his hips in surprised pleasure. "God, that's nice," Lawrence sighed, leaning heavily against the tiled wall of the shower. Adam looked up and smiled, taking more of Lawrence's cock into his mouth and rubbing his balls with the palm of his hand. He traced his tongue along Lawrence's shaft, wrapping his lips around it and sucking slowly. Lawrence laced both his hands in Adam's thick, dark hair, running them through the wet strands. "Oh God, Adam, please, that feels so good," begged Lawrence. Adam continued, running his hands up and down Lawrence's torso and thighs. Lawrence started pulling tightly on Adam's hair, moaning and breathing heavily, resting his head against the wall with his eyes closed. Adam then put both his hands onto Lawrence's arched cheeks and took him further toward the back of his throat. "Adam, God help me," whimpered Lawrence, gasping, hips jerking forward. Adam compensated and shifted his head backward, running his tongue along the underside. Lawrence grabbed the shampoo bottle from the shower head rack and popped the cap open. He then poured some apple shampoo out onto his hand and lathered it up. He started massaging it into Adam's soft, wet hair, lathering it in more as he worked. Adam moaned. He had always loved it when Lawrence played with his hair or ran his fingers through it, and his strong hands massaging his scalp felt so good. Lawrence shook with the vibrations. Adam, that's so nice, he sighed, shuddering pleasurably. Adam sped up his pace and sucked harder as Lawrence continued massaging his apple-scented hair. Lawrence moaned and started pulling his hair again, panting and crying out with pleasure. Lawrence suddenly felt a finger slipping into his entrance. "Oh, Adam! Don't stop!" cried Lawrence. Adam was shifting around below him, and Lawrence looked down to find Adam pleasuring himself. The sight was too much, and Lawrence felt himself start to constrict in Adam's mouth. "Adam, I'm so close, keep going, I'm gonna..." Lawrence came with a loud groan. "Hey Adam," and Adam swallowed his essence with no hesitation. Adam kept rubbing and pulling his cock until he finished with a moan, his mouth vibrating around Lawrence. Lawrence shuddered again, growing overstimulated. Adam took his mouth off him and then wiped it with the back of his hand, looking up at Lawrence for the first time since the whole thing had ended. Lawrence looked down at Adam and smiled, reaching out for his hand. Adam took it and Lawrence pulled him up into a standing position. He then pulled Adam into a passionate kiss, stealing the breath from his lungs. Adam's eyes widened before he wrapped his arms around Lawrence's neck, his eyes fluttering closed. Adam hummed in surprised pleasure and then Lawrence broke the kiss, panting and leaning back against the wall. He held Adam close, embracing him and running his fingers through his now rinsed-out hair. "Who needs an alarm clock after a wake-up like that?" Lawrence sighed after a protracted silence. Adam smirked. "Tea that was good?" asked Adam, suddenly nervous. "That was wonderful," Lawrence confirmed. "You're wonderful." Adam smiled, breaking the embrace. "I love you so much, Lawrence," he replied. "I love you, too. Now it's time for me to clean you," Lawrence murmured, dropping his voice and moving toward Adam. "Well, if you insist," Adam smirked. As Lawrence finished washing Adam's body, he started thinking about the surprise he had planned for later that day.